the houses because it's 25 wood each, and they're very very squishy. They're only 400 HP, which is fairly easy to take down early on.
Yeah, and
And
one
and
of
they're so starved for wood at the start that you really hurt them.
yeah, I was gonna say that's one of the big things to see is how many straggler tree drop-offs are the Molly gonna do, and how many houses are they gonna build. I've seen anywhere from 2 to 9 houses at the start. Obviously, nice old conservative 4-house opening. This is the typical one that you do end up seeing. So that's where Puppypaw, not too much of an investment into these houses, is going to have a nice balanced eco. Will have a little bit extra gold income, but that's just Molly, and they love that gold income. It does take quite a bit of time for these houses to be burnt down. 400 health a pop, but still go down quite quickly. So would love to see, you know, ZertoN, after he drops off his next set of sheep, actually come to help with the scout as well. Because if you're able to get a few of these houses down before the feudal age landmark finishes, it does delay up that kind of power spike and just kind of skyrocketing eco that the Molly can get. So yes, I would definitely say that like pressure on the houses in Dark Age 100% necessary. If you have a civ that has the capability to do it and it actually makes sense to do, which English is definitely one that it does.
Absolutely. Against Malians, this is the delay game. You want to delay, delay, delay. Oh my god. Puppy going with the greedy landmark, the Mansa Quarry. Interesting. This is something that we saw yesterday on Wham?
Wham versus Puppy is exactly what it was, I believe. Yeah. And Puppypaw burned all of the houses and the pit mine, and then burnt all of the houses and a pit mine for another one, and then burnt all the houses and a pit mine for another one. Needless to say, Puppypaw won the game, and Wham did not win it with the greedy Mansa Quarry. That being said, though, it was a little bit of a different opening. There were more houses in the greed. There was a lot more greed on the other side. And the investment in Dark Age was a little bit more as well, as I believe it was 5 spears, and I want to say it was a different civ. HRE. It was HRE. Yeah, HRE. So, ooh, a little bit of extra damage, but this will do some return fire onto those men-at-arms. Puppypaw wants to make sure this house stays up, and he can just pull down this low-health villager, as look at how fast that thing heals it up. It's just wasting all of the time. And I saw someone ask, is it better to go for the houses or the pit mine? 100% the houses. The reason being, the health difference is huge with 1500 compared to 400. And you're able to take down a lot more of them a lot faster, and you can actually end up housing your opponent, force a lot more of a wood investment and reaction immediately, because the pit mine, they can always end up just going, okay, rebuild. But sometimes with houses, if you notice the overall population cap of Puppypaw, imagine if the 2 houses on the northern side instead of the one closer to the town center got burnt. Villager would have never been able to heal this. Puppypaw would right now be at 19 of 20. If a Vil pops out, there's no stable production until he gets another house. So he would have been forced to delay the stables for another house, or have just a straight up idle TC. So that's where a little bit of these early nuances can go a long way. The seconds in this early game is huge, and another Vil comes up to try to rebuild that house and not allow, again, any long-term damage.
Yeah. And we're seeing the stable with the sofas coming out from Puppypaw. This is a new style of Mali that has popped up because a lot of people have just kind of figure out how to deal with Farimba. It's exactly what ZertoN is doing. You do a Dark Age aggression, and then you just go at them with more units that they can deal with the Farimba, because Farimba units are cheap, but they're also weaker in general. But with the sofas, they are very, very good, very, very tanky, and they deal a lot of damage versus infantry.
Even right there, if ZertoN had focused on burning down the house, that sofa would have never popped out. He's at 22 of 20 right now, Puppypaw is. So, a little bit of differences here, and instead the sofa could end up taking out both of the men-at-arms. We're seeing spearmen and longbow production come out of the English, and farms just now being dropped in for ZertoN.
Yeah, so this style of Mali is really interesting. You go mass sofa, This is what I'm expecting. He probably will do something completely different and make my entire rant useless, but we'll go with it. This is a style that you go mass sofa into archers from your Farimba. Because sofas get really tanky in castle with their +2 armor. They're a little bit tankier than knights in that regard. So spearmen they have quite a difficult time taking them down, and you have a bunch of archers from behind, so you just kill all the spearmen with your archers, and then the sofas have complete free reign about on anything the English throws at you. The longbows they don't do anything versus sofa. The men at arms don't do anything versus sofa. So then you're forced to go into cavalry with English
Ooh.
or whatever Civ.
Another attempted raid coming in. Doesn't get the Vil as it was a good body block by ZertoN protecting that lower health Vil. But you are right. I've seen Anatan do this strat a lot, which is just what you said. Mass up Sofa, cause reaction, cause damage, do the typical raid, you know, act like they're horsemen or mini knights or whatever you want to say. But once they hit Castle Age, those Sofas really turn online and just become unbelievable. Puppypaw though seems to be spending a ton of his resources on those sofas, so the question's gonna and archer jabs actually, and the question's gonna be is when will that transition to Farimba be?
I like the javelins in this situation because there are only a couple of longbows. So if you take all the longbows, the javelins will just kill everything else for free. So I really like this choice for Puppypaw right now. I'm really curious what are his next steps going to be because I'm expecting eventually Castle, and that's when this matchup is really gonna turn into Mali favored until the very late Castle or early Imperial, if the English manages to get there.
Yeah, and one of the things that I feel like people do really good about against Mali is what we just saw, which is being aggressive on that first goal, being aggressive on that first pit mine, burn down the houses and get aggressive. Where I feel like some people are lacking is this. You now have let your opponent have a full another set of pit mine that has gone untouched, another full set of houses, and now this is a ton of he has 0 Vils on gold right now. He's getting 220 gold per minute. ZertoN has 4 Vils on gold, and he's at 110 because they keep getting idled. He's actually sending more there now, but that has been one of the spots that Puppy's been pressuring, and now he's feeling nice and happy. This is where he has a good sofa mass and will be able to transition to Castle Age soon. And that's probably what we're about to see as he just pulls off of the wood.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gonna go full into the gold, start producing cows, and get enough gold for Castle. And with the cows, he's gonna skyrocket that food because cows are very balanced. So yeah, and in the meantime, ZertoN is just forced to be under his town center, to protect his gold because he also needs to get to Castle. But I feel like this is the wrong choice for ZertoN. I feel like he should be mass producing unit and taking the fight on to Puppypaw.
Yeah, I spoke about this a lot yesterday whenever I saw Mali. I feel like a lot of people have found them out in the higher elo, and one of the things that I feel like is the reaction is Mali hits Castle, and it's not like, oh my god, I need to hit Castle Age, I'm going to lose now because I'm an age behind. It's like, all right, I'm going to play out an extended feudal. I'm going to make sure to take efficient trades. I'm going to make sure to continue to play my game and not rush this age up, and then I'll I'll age up when it's needed, and then it ends up working out because until the sofa really get that next upgrade, which is quite expensive in Castle, they don't become too crazy, and they all have units that can be dealt with feudal age.
Yeah, absolutely. There is it only really start getting scary with Mali Castle when they start placing down keeps or start getting siege. But because they're so gold starved because of the Farimba, those things take quite a while for them to come online. So you do have quite a big window when the Mali is in Castle, and you can still fight them in feudal. But as we see, 20 villagers on Farimba, like Puppypaw has no chill. He's like, I'm going Farimba, you're gonna die.
Yeah, and after this, the majority of these villagers will be going right back to the gold mine, just to take as much gold as possible and just eat up all the gold all over the map. ZertoN, about halfway to those Castle Age resources himself. It kind of seems like he's almost like split the difference here between going Castle Age and staying fuel, and that's where I feel like it's like almost the biggest mistake. but getting a good, decent raid with 4 horsemen. 5 horsemen, so solid job here, causing idle time. Looks like 1 Vil goes down, 2 Vils go down. And this is typically where you'll have the Saharan trade network, and these villagers can't be raided. But Puppy, he opted for the Greeter Mantiquari, and this is why he's actually taken a bit of extra damage. But imagine if ZertoN right now, instead of having these resources in the bank, it was all military. Puppy would be getting crushed. I mean, imagine 10 extra longbows here. Imagine 5 extra horsemen. I don't know if that's right. Actually, that's probably pretty close. To what he could have, and that would allow him to win these fights, to push Vils off of gold completely, to push Vils off of food completely. But instead, he's gonna have to fall back. He's gonna have to regroup when he drops his Castle Age.
Yeah, absolutely. Poor cow getting slaughtered for food. Another cow just going to get slaughtered too. Poor things. Anyways, yeah, absolutely. If ZertoN needs, he's aging up. He's deciding to age up and not going for the units. I'm not quite sure if I agree with this decision. I see why he's doing it, but at this point, the Mali is online. They're going to start pumping out units so fast, and you need units to be able to fight them because this is going to be way too much to deal with. The horsemen are trying to find some damage, but they're going to run into the sofas, and that's not good.
Oh, yes, they are. Luckily, Puppypaw had a scout, or not luckily, skillfully Puppypaw had a scout with the sofas and is able to see anything and everything that they're running around. So right when those 4 horsemen were going to, maybe try to find this gold vein, and Puppypaw, if he didn't have a scout, would probably be already all the way over here with the sofa. A villager would have gone down, probably a house or 2 instead. No damage at all. ZertoN reaches Castle Age with a 4 Vil lead and just 8 military deficit. That being said, these pit mines with these houses around them make up for a lot of villagers with this passive generation, and you can't forget about the extra food generation or gather rate from cows for Mali.
Yeah, absolutely. And now is this when Mali gets really scary. Puppypaw is starting to produce Musafari warriors, and this is really very scary because they can go invisible and they're really fast and deal a lot of damage, and you really can only fight them with range units, specifically archers or longbows in this case. But whenever you have like 20 Musafaris split into 2 or 3 different places, you can't have that many longbows protecting everything, and that's the very scary part of Mali. Although there is a horseman raid coming in, he might be able to get a villager kill. No,
right back on the berries again, right back on the gold again. So he's going for the correct spots, which is mainly the gold is what I would have kept focusing on. But not quite able to do anything. Puppypaw pulls back the Vils, but at the same time, Puppy's sofa attempted raid with like 8 to 10 sofas, fully denied, and correct reaction by ZertoN there. So kind of both sides making some good reactions. Puppypaw's military mass though, 40. This is the strength of the Farimba. We're gonna blink and Puppypaw's gonna be at like 80 military, and it's gonna be like kind of the same situation as last game we saw with the Mongols. ZertoN's gonna be ahead 20 Vils probably and looking pretty nice as far as eco goes. He has his farms behind it. He's like, woohoo, this is cool. But Puppypaw's gonna go, yeah, economy's cool, but you know what's good and actually fun is killing your opponent. And he's just going to throw all of that military at the base.
Yeah, look at him. He knows the horsemen are somewhere around him, and he's hunting for them, and he found them. Oh, this is such a heads-up play because he knows they're around there because he hasn't seen them go back. And once these horsemen go back into certain side of the map, it means Puppypaw has free range on the map, and he can do whatever he wants. He will start taking relics. He will start taking the food on the map. More gold, another pit mine. This is just gonna be very rough for ZertoN. He needs to do something in the short term. He's starting to add knights, which I really dislike. I think knights are probably the worst unit that you can make against Mali, personally, because they have 2 very cheap units that counter them, which are Donso and Musafaris. Musafaris and Donso both absolutely demolish knights. So I am not happy with this. I think just plain horsemen are better than knights in this matchup.
Knights circled around though, past the wood line, past the walls, get 2 more Vil picks. Maybe 3 here. Nope, pulling back now as the sofas decide to react to it. 1 knight, though, actually sits back, goes towards that back line. I believe Puppypaw might have spotted it out or has is an idea that it's going somewhere. And ZertoN, good little trade, though, again. He's up 13, 14 now with another Vil kill. So he's up 14, overall eco. But again, he is at half the military of Puppy.
Yeah, this is a problem, and a lot of the military is very, very expensive with those knights, and those knights in a straight up fight are not gonna do well, because right now the sofas, yeah, they do a little bit less damage, but they're a lot tankier with that extra armor. And he's going in again with these knights. He might fight some damage, but there are no villagers anywhere to be found. Just Puppy completely shift his eco somewhere else.
Yes, he did. He has moved heavy onto the wood line, and as always, he is majority onto the gold. So, from here, Blacksmith starting to get some upgrades in and heavier onto the wood because of Siege Workshops. He's dropped the Siege Workshop. He's also dropped the Mosque. Going to be able to try to start attempting to go gather up those relics. And ZertoN's just been massing his main force at home. The sad part is his main force is miniature. Just not too strong out there. So unless he can really delay with these knights and allow that eco to transition into military, he's gonna be struggling if Puppypaw moves forward with this.
Yeah, Puppy has 40 Musafaris. 40! I think that's more than enough to kill the entire of ZertoN's army. Maybe not with network of castles, but a straight up fight, I'm pretty sure the Musafaris will absolutely melt all these knights and all the longbows.
Look at those EMOMs. I've never zoomed in on the EMOMs for Mali. Those things are sick. Men-at-Arms was ready and waiting for the relic, but does get taken out. EMOM snags up that first relic. We'll be bringing that home for some extra passive gold generation. Musafaris moving back to deal with that night raid, and guess what? Those Musafaris shred.
Yeah, there they go. All 40 of them, just 45 now, just going for those knights. And those knights trying to find damage, going for the gold, expecting to see villagers. Musafaris going to stealth. They're just gonna go right on top of them, and boom, all those knights are dead.
Multiple circles around the knights. It's 5 knights traded for absolutely nothing. Thousands of resources thrown directly down the drain. An unbelievable pickup by Puppypaw. I think that's just a pickup that solidifies the game even further. Because as far as military numbers, the knights are the highest value you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. They are by far the most expensive non-siege unit that you can make, and those Musafari just melt them. That's what I was talking earlier. Like, you're going to stealth, and you just hit them, and there's nothing you can do about it because they get the first strike. They're on top of you. They circle you. They might be able to get this mangonel. Oh no, never mind.
No, if they had gotten the mangonel, they all would have died. And 5 knights for a mango, not an efficient trade.
Yeah, but at this point, ZertoN it's like
Musafari running forward on top of Vils. Archer longbows have actually been produced, but there are so many sofas, and not only sofas, there are jab throwers as well. Puppypaw starting to move forward with his army, starting to show what is under his hand, and that is a massive military that I don't know how ZertoN's going to be able to deal with it. I don't care how much eco you have, you need military, you need protection, and Puppypaw moving further and further forward.
Yeah, this is just so many units, and they pretty much perfectly counter everything that ZertoN had. ZertoN kind of countered himself, and this is just way too many. Just 105 military. How can you fight that?
Yeah, I mean, just not even close to enough military for ZertoN. Puppypaw realizes that and just goes, all right, I'm going to burn down your council hall. Then the weak, half as much HP as the council hall, King's Palace, will go down after that. ZertoN realizes he needs to take the fight, starts moving up a little bit, but still, it's not going to be enough. Puppypaw's diving in. Reinforcements are funneling on through. It seems like another 50 units are about to arrive, and Puppypaw shredding everything in his path.
Yeah, absolutely. ZertoN has to take this fight or he loses, and I'm pretty sure he's realized just yes, he lost this game. There are just way too many things flooding onto his base, destroying all his secret side. Or he has basically no units, just this couple handful of longbows on the back, and yep, he calls the GG.
GG. Puppypaw showing another dominating performance in game number 2. We're going to be moving on to game number 3 in just a second, but let's check out some of these stats and just kind of show you how